Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Princess Peach Showtime. So we have to rescue the rest of the actors. So off we go to Dark Space, which is just a fancy word for saying hard and challenging level for this game, anyway.
I mean, what does challenge signify in a game that seems primarily designed for the younger demographic?
Well, Ryan had showed off the encore level early on, and that did seem legitimately pretty tough, but it just looks like it's supposed to be kind of like the final hurrah for
Each gameplay style, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a couple of times in this game where I got down to one heart. Obviously, it's not a huge deal if you die or anything, but...
You just lose some coins.
Yeah, figuring out mechanics can actually make you take a bit of damage, I feel. So even though it is still easy, and I wouldn't say that it's hard, you know, at least you're not breezing past immediately.
It's more about whether or not a game's satisfying over whether or not a game's challenging. I've noticed.
Exactly,
there are plenty of games where I've played where they're hard, like I die a lot, or it takes a long time for me to go through them. But I wouldn't say that they're particularly interesting, versus there are also plenty of games that are easy, but I had a lot of fun playing them and felt satisfied by the end.
Satisfaction through difficulty.
Yeah, that's me in this game.
Satisfaction through difficulty, though, is always like a tricky thing to...
It's like balancing on a knife's edge, like trying to make a game just hard enough so that you the average player will, feel like they overcome something, but also not get frustrated by it.
Yeah,
you know,
but that's assuming
though
they even get satisfaction from fulfilling that. Though that's another thing that I think folks don't talk about as much.
I think games these days have been really taking a note of making things fun to try to beat and making it difficult, but also making it not frustrating to replay or get to if you die. Like, the things that come to mind when I think of that are like Celeste, where you have constant checkpoints, but each individual room is hell.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was...
if you want to go back further, Super Meat Boy also had a very similar balance.
Astrobot also comes to mind, too, for something a little bit more recent.
You see, you bring up Super Meat Boy. I think Super Meat Boy did a much worse job of that than Celeste, because Super Meat Boy is inherently much less fair. And granted, it's been 10 years plus since I played Meat Boy, so I could be misremembering. But I remember Meat Boy throwing shit at you and, like, trying to trick you much more than Celeste did, and the thought process was, oh, you respawn right away, so it's fine. Whereas, like, that's still, like, each level might only take 45 seconds to beat when you finish it. But, when you spent 10 minutes trying to get to the end of that, and then suddenly a saw blade comes out of nowhere, and then you get hit and you have to start all over again. Like, no thanks. Versus, I think Celeste did a much better job about that. I think the Rayman games, Rayman Origins and Legends, do a fantastic job with that in terms of difficulty balancing. Astrobot, from what I've seen, looks pretty good about that. I haven't played it because...
Astrobot's cake.
Yeah.
Astrobot is great.
So here's the thing.
Though.
Astrobot seems fantastic. I do really want to play it. Problem is that I'm not buying a PS5 for one game that isn't Dragon Quest.
That's right. That's right.
That is literally it.
Because you're getting a PS5 Pro.
And paying another $80 for a disc drive add-on? Oh,
$80?
Yeah, for the disc drive add-on, it's $80. I looked it up like a week ago. Yeah,
plus you got to buy the stand so we can, balance it properly.
Wait, I don't have to buy anything. I think that's what you meant to say, is that you're waiting for a delivery truck to topple over, and then you just take what's inside and leave.
No, I'm too conspicuous. I'm too attractive and good-looking. And recognizable.
Why would someone so attractive and good-looking bother with the PS5 Pro? Only gooners buy these.
For real, though, it is very funny that the PS5 finally has, its... Well, no, I guess Spider-Man 2 was PS5 only as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so cool. The PS5 now has 2 exclusive games for it that I'd want to play.
You'll not catch my ass spending that much money on a fucking pro console, like PlayStation or otherwise. It's ridiculous.
Listen, I was gonna say I get it. I kind of don't, but like the problem is just that it's kind of almost the Wii U problem in that I have no need to upgrade because a lot of stuff's still coming out on the old system. Like there's still games coming out on the PS4, like stuff's still getting PS4 ports. And like that was the thing with the Wii U, like the Just Dance was coming out on the Wii after it stopped coming out on the Wii U, you know. So it's like once it finally gets to the point where there's games that I want that will only be coming out on that system, I'll go for it. But
That'll happen when the PS6 comes out.
oh, okay, sounds good.
Yeah. And then the cycle just repeats.
Oh man.
As someone who has like bought multiple iterations of current gen consoles as far back as the PlayStation 1, and you know, to me, like the biggest point of contention outside of, and I touched upon this in my Astrobot video, that I'm finding more and more reason to not go so hard on the Sony stuff, because more often than not I can just get it on a computer. On top of, to use the Pro as an example, it's close to $800.
Yeah.
Like if you
Yeah.
want that thing with the physical disk drive.
On the one hand, I get that. On the other, it's also a matter of people will spend that much money just to get a graphics card.
Yeah, and I bring that up. I bring that up myself, but that still doesn't solve the issue of the exclusivity, like the things you can get that you get a PlayStation 5 for specifically that you just don't get on the computer.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because the question is if it's that expensive to get one or the other, why not get the one that has?
Why not just get the computer? Yeah, get the computer that can, you know, because you don't need a $1,500 rig to play most games today. That's silly.
Yeah.
Like you can get a good standard gaming PC for under $700.
Honestly, one of the things that's keeping me off of thinking about buying new consoles is just, and this is the Nintendo fan in me. I've gotten most Nintendo consoles and handhelds on launch or close to launch since the 3DS. Before that, you know, I would have to wait because, you know, I was a teenager with no money, so I'd have to wait until someone got it for me as a gift. But, you know, I got like my launch 3DS, and then eventually it'd be like, but here's one with Pikachu on it. And I'd be like, no, but mine doesn't have Pikachu on it. And then I'd be sad.
I mean, I feel like I did that the most with the 3DS, honestly.
Well, the 3DS
because
was
the 3DS
also
had
semi-affordable. The difference between
yeah, that's what I was about to mention. Is just like it was more affordable, and it was just low enough that I could kind of justify it and be like, I'd be happy just carrying this around with me and, you know, looking like a nerd standing around playing my 3DS out in the middle of nowhere with my big old Pokeball.
I've bought a total of 4 to 3DSs.
I've bought a lot of 3DSs as well, but at least in my defense, 2 of those I had to buy consoles so I could get the capture card on them. So, you know,
Yeah, one was my original at launch model, which I think was turquoise colored. That's the one that had the Game Boy Advance Ambassador stuff on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The second one was my Capture 3DS, which I still have, and it's going on me because
I need to get one.
It's micro USB.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
The third was my first 3DS XL, which was blue, which I then replaced with the first new 3DS XL. Okay, no, then in that case, I've bought 5 because I recently got a new 2DS XL, which I've modded.
Surprisingly easy to do.
So they say.
Yeah, but like we were saying, the difference between, you know, being able to drop $200 for a 3DS with Pikachu on it is a lot different than being able to having to pay $700 to buy a PlayStation with retro PlayStation stuff on it. You know, it's like the amount of money difference between $200 and $800 is so much.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Well, I guess on that point of conversation, and at the time of this video, we know next to nothing about the Switch successor.
Yo, did you just make a Switch 2 announcement direct appear out of the ether, so this video will be out of date? Thanks, John.
Sure.
Well, now you brought it up, Ted, so.
Yeah, if you bring Measure to it, now you just you canceled it out.
Okay.
Yeah. But despite not knowing really anything about it, but because like I think it's safe to assume most of us here are larger Nintendo fans than any other.
Watching the
Of
Princess
the
Peach
main
commentary.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. You would never know. Are you guys going to get the Switch successor day one? Like, regardless of what?
100%.
Yeah, like
I'm gonna-
regardless of like what's in it and what's not in it.
I'm gonna
But
try
also,
to, but
I feel like my Switch is like getting older, so it's also when I hold it, I can feel it getting hot, and I'm just like, that's a little scary. So it's like if I can get. I almost went for the OLED version because of that, because I was like, I'm scared of my Switch. That is very old by this point to kick the bucket.
Speaking of
So-
someone that has an OLED, I love the OLED screen, but I think my biggest point of contention is not necessarily the OLED's problem. It's more of a Switch issue. I don't like the Joy-Cons.
The Joy-Cons are not the most comfortable thing to
I
hold.
think out of like for like the past 7 years of having that console, and even that, as someone who primarily sticks to console mode, I don't like the Joy-Cons. Like looking back, I think the analog
Right.
stick feedback is too loose, and I don't like how clicky the buttons are and how small they are.
I play
Like trying to play the
my-
games on handheld mode for that is kind of miserable at times.
I play primarily handheld, and yeah, the Joy-Cons aren't great. Not to mention how quickly they break too, considering
Yeah.
how expensive
Yeah,
they are.
I'm there. I play the Switch primarily in handheld unless I'm recording something, so it's like I'm used to it by this point. I also have, small girl hands, but that's whatever. So it might be a little bit more comfortable for me as opposed to someone who has larger hands. But given the choice, I definitely would play with literally any other controller.
Yeah. For me, like, I think there was definitely a time where I would be like, oh yeah, day one, I'll get it no matter what. Nowadays, I'm thinking about it, and if I wouldn't be against getting it day one if there was a game I really wanted to play. But if there wasn't, and there wasn't like some substantial reason to upgrade other than that, like significantly increased performance or what have you, or better online, I think I would be okay just waiting until the game I really want does come out, and then I would pick
So
it up.
you're financially responsible.
No,
that's
I'm
what
not.
That's what we're hearing.
I'm
at the
not
end of the
in-
day.
not in
I mean,
general,
you say that.
no.
Don't lowball yourself though, because I think the fact that you're already considering waiting for a price drop or waiting until it actually has games to play that you can't play anywhere else does give you a degree of more financial responsibility than any of us chuckle fucks.
Yeah, I said like the second the question was asked, I was like 100% yes, I'm doing it. I don't even, it's not even a
Look,
question.
I'm looking in my room right now, and I'm seeing what the kind of crap I have lying around here. Callie plush, liquid metal slime plush, vinyl Boo Mario from Mario Galaxy, Magic the Gathering cards. I'm not financially responsible, but I'll try once, just to see what it feels like. It's the first time
Dude,
for anything.
if I don't want to get into the who's the least financially responsible, because that's a stupid argument to have, but I have literally like 3 boxes of plushies in my garage that I still haven't unpacked. They're just sitting there. I don't know.
I
what I'm
have
gonna
4
do. I
bookshelves
already
full of
have,
old games that I don't play.
No, but John, you're a YouTuber. You need those. That's part of the job
I
description.
have 4 shelves full of games that I don't play.
No, but you need those to be your background so that you look official while you're
4
doing
shelves.
YouTube things. Like, how do I know that you're a professional YouTuber if you don't have a shelf full of retro video games?
I wasn't sure at first, but then I saw that Billy bookcase you got from IKEA. I was like, now I know everything.
Wow. Brave Fencer Musashi for the PlayStation 1. This guy definitely doesn't have a life. I know that I can trust his opinion on video games.
That's a man with nothing to lose, so why would he lie?
you think people would just go on the internet and lie?
So you say nothing to lose, but I watch LGR, Lazy Game Reviews, on YouTube, who covers a bunch of retro PC stuff, and I love his videos. And he lives in the South, so during those storms a couple weeks back, a tree.
Wait, I just saw that. I saw that.
Yeah, a tree fell into his house and like broke into his collection room where he had a bunch of old computer parts. And like I feel
great.
awful because it's like, realistically speaking, that's thousands of dollars of value that he lost.
Horrific.
And it's like, oh my god. Like, not to mention the emotional attachment that you have to something like that too. So it's just like, you know, I think about like, oh, if there was ever a fire or whatnot, like, I know that you're supposed to, you know, leave everything that you have behind if there's ever a fire. But if there is a fire, I'm taking the 3rd-degree burns and I'm pulling my video games out of here.
I like genuinely, because I had a friend who actually just lost almost everything to a house fire because of the hurricanes, that sort of thing.
God.
But the one thing that I think he made sure to like try and save was his computer.
Yeah, I try to save my computer because there's just too much valuable stuff on there.
Like, if I think I had like a minute of time, if I think I had just a minute of time, I'd probably try and take the rig. Like, obviously not the monitors and all that sort of shit, because you can always replace the monitors.
Oh my!
But like the rig itself,
like Zoolander, where it's just like it's inside the computer and they smash the monitor.
The computer.
Where is it?
But why male models?
Why male models? I need to watch that movie. Okay, you know what? We need to do a movie marathon. Zoolander and Galaxy Quest. We need to watch. Those.
You're asking us to watch comedies, though.
Yeah,
and I don't like watching comedies with Lewis.
I'm not saying for commentaries. I mean just for fun, for enjoying ourselves.
What is this for fun that you're talking about?
It's the other mode.
You have to monetize everything.
Absolutely.
Make it a podcast and
This
make
machine
it like a
never
hey,
stops.
we're gonna watch a movie. Let's do a 3, 2, 1 countdown so you can hear our commentary.
You see, but we've literally done that before.
Post on Spotify. Oh no!
Granted, we haven't done a movie commentary in ages.
Yeah.
Mostly because I
Maybe
think
it's time to bring it back.
I think YouTube would automatically put in ads, which would ruin how we do and movie commentaries on YouTube.
Well, I mean, another part of it is just because like it was easier for us to do that kind of shit back then because we weren't nearly as busy.
Yeah, imagine having a life.
Yeah, let's fuck out of here.
Okay, to talk about the game for 30 seconds. I know, lame. What the hell What the hell is supposed to be? Oh, you're supposed to jump. Okay, all right. I wasn't sure, like, because you were pressing the button with the right timing, but you were getting hit anyway. So I was confused.
I actually had kind of a hard time with this part because I was confused on what it actually wanted me to pay attention to in the way of timing.
It does definitely look trickier, for sure. Although they, like a true kung fu movie, they do indeed come at you one at a time when they very clearly could 3v1 you and kick your ass.
I think about that. I think like the trope. The trope is what conservation of ninjutsu. I think that's what it's called. It's the act of, despite there being 15 of those motherfuckers, they don't all get the idea of dogpile, the one individual. And I think about that. If I was part of that massive influx of ninjas, I think the thing going on in my mind is that I don't want to get punched in the face. Like, I don't want to accidentally throw a fist. The guy ducks and I hit one of my compatriots.
So that's kind of why these kung fu movies are a bigger thing about that. Because if you're talking about a bunch of guys with swords, then yes, that's definitely a much bigger concern because you have much less control about that. Theoretically, if these guys are like training in these dojos to fight together, this is something that you would have like prepared, you know? Like you would know how to punch somebody without punching your friend. You know, why is he wearing a luchador? This is a Chinese kung fu theater.
What is this? Is that supposed to be a mask or is that face paint?
I'm not sure.
I think it's probably like face paint. I mean, this isn't like Chinese, but it reminds me of like the kabuki face paint.
It could be kabuki face paint. It's just the first thing I
think
of
kabuki Japanese though?
Yeah, that's why I said it's not Chinese, but it reminds me of that.
Listen, I see that kind of stuff on someone's face, and the first thing I think of is Strong Bad. So, you know.
Oh my god.
All right, Peach, now drop a train on him.
But Strong Bad, that's murder.
Crap, that's murder. Murdering my attitude.
That is not a small number. That is a big number.
It's okay, Princess Peach. You can go, guys. My Homestar Runner puppet came in. I know I can't actually puppet because we're disembodied voices, but I'm gonna be so obnoxious with that thing going forward. It's gonna be
Incredible.